because it is fun. Like, it's like Twitch is kind of like in a way a substitute for like playing video games with your friends and like hanging out in person. Like, you know, you can hang out with this online influencer and then kind of see what they're playing, and it's not as good in some ways. It's not as interactive, but in other ways it's better, which is like you can do it while you're at work, right? Or like while you're doing something else, or like at any time of the day, right? You don't have to coordinate. So I feel like the virtual concert is kind of similar to that, where it's actually not better than a real concert in a lot of ways, right? A real concert is a little bit more like there's a crowd energy and stuff like that. But then there is something that is convenient, like you can't go out all the time necessarily, right? So then some of the time you might want to see your favorite artist perform in this kind of like digital crowd. And so I do think that will stick around. I said, you know, there's a lot of different people trying to do that. I did this UC Berkeley graduation that was like a digital graduation in Minecraft. Like all these, you know, students came in on Minecraft, and I gave a digital commencement speech, and then they did a concert, you know, afterwards with a bunch of different artists. And so, you know, it was fun. Like people were like jumping around in Minecraft and stuff. It was pretty cool to see. You know, so there is something that's interesting there, and I feel like that will continue to grow and expand. I guess right now everybody's doing it in platforms that already exist, like gaming platform, like Fortnite or Minecraft or something, like a platform that already exists. And I'm curious, and I'm not sure whether someone would be able to like create a new platform. You know, a lot of people talked about that, but like creating a new platform specifically for like digital concerts. I think it's smart to piggyback on top of existing platforms.
Yeah, and speaking of digital, I think there's definitely something that are missing, like you mentioned, crowd energy. There's stuff that kind of disappears when events become virtual, but there are also things that are only possible because, well, it's virtual. And you probably might have seen a lot of that from experience, like watching Twitch, how Twitch grew. What are some of the mechanisms or engagement experience you think can really be leveraged by the digital platforms under the content itself?
Well, okay, so I mean, there's kind of the ones that people have seen, right? Like, so Twitch has really pioneered a lot of this, or really Asia did, where it's like there's a lot of like, virtual gifting in the form of like I'm giving an influencer or whatever something, and then like there's some social credit that comes back to me for that my name flashes on the screen or they shout out my name or whatever. And so I feel like that is something that we're just like, it's pretty rudimentary right now. But we see people being much more willing to like pay to like support influencers and like promote and their favorite influencer, whether it's like something on Twitch or Patreon or like OnlyFans or whatever. So I feel like that is, that's a mechanism of interaction and engagement. Obviously chat is a huge one. So, Twitch chat has become its own like phenomenon, right? In the last 6-7 years. I mean, I feel like that's another one. What else is there? I feel like there's probably, there'll probably be more like innovations in that. I mean, if you look at something like Clubhouse, like I really like their UI for like how you invite people up to speak. Clubhouse is this digital app. It's like just funded by Andreessen at $100 million valuation. Still in beta or whatever, but it's a pretty interesting interface where like you can kind of have a conversation. Like we could have this conversation on Clubhouse, and then if somebody in the audience we recognized, maybe Emmett, my co-founder of Twitch, was like popped on, we'd say invite him up onto like the stage, basically the virtual stage, to like speak to have the conversation included in the conversation. And I feel like you could incorporate that type of mechanic into some of these other platforms. So that would be another kind of example. I guess the interesting thing about that is like we had that idea of like doing like almost like live panels as a feature on top of Justin TV, where you can invite other people who are like streamers to have their like video streams underneath yours. And other people, actually, we never implemented it actually, but other people did. And I wonder if like you could probably figure out what types of engagement things you could build for this next generation of apps by just like going back and looking through time of like what other people have tried.
Yeah. That's really interesting.